UFC 329 went down on Saturday night, an absolutely incredible card, one of the fight cards of the year. Sadly ruined by this man here, Conor McGregor, as we all know, injured in the first round. However, this card was absolutely incredible from bottom to top, stacked, full of finishes, incredible fights. In this video, I'm going to go through every fight on the card and give my opponent for every single fight on the card. Let's get straight into the main event, McGregor versus Holloway. Shall I just end it there? You know, what the fuck? Conor McGregor tears his ACL, MCL, whatever it is, in the first fucking kick he throws. Looked dodgy, walking into the cage, taking off his shoes, was like wobbling around a bit. Yeah, let's just say this man's finished. His legs are cooked, both legs are fucked. The right one's got a fucking rod in it, or the left one of them's got a rod in it, the other one's torn. So, if he ever comes back, which I don't want to see, I don't want to see McGregor come back ever again, to be honest. I'm not interested in it. I wasn't really interested in the initial return. You know, he went out there, did a spinning kick, injured his leg, threw another high kick, tore his fully tore it. Well, we don't know the extent of the injury, but his MCL, his ACL's fucked. Twitched it in his knee as he was throwing a kick to start the fight against Holloway. Fell on the ground. Holloway landed some ground and pound, let him up because, you know, we all know Holloway can't grapple. And did it again. He fell on the ground, let him back up again. Then he went to throw a punch and held his knee. Mike Beltran just saw the fight off. Absolute dog shit. We all stayed up for 5 a.m. to watch Conor McGregor throw one kick, fall on his ass, and get hit on the ground. Absolute bullshit. I don't want to see him back, but they're probably going to rebook it. They're going to rebook it, aren't they? They're going to do it. I don't want to see it. They're going to make McGregor Holloway three. And Max Holloway has just made the easiest paycheck of his life. Stood in the ring, the cage with McGregor for a minute and just get paid, what, about $1 million, 2 million, whatever contract he's on. It's going to be a juicy one. Yeah, sucks to see. If they don't do it and McGregor retires, I want to see Max Holloway versus Mauricio Rufy going back down to 155 max. You're not big enough for one. Well, he could be. But, you know, is Max Holloway going to beat a Prates, a Morales? They're going to be too big for him. Makachev will out grapple him. Gary would be too big for him. I want to see him back down at 155. Take on Mauricio Rufy. You know, you've had your nice fight. You know, you got destroyed by Oliveira. You don't deserve the McGregor fight originally. Come and take on a prospect. Prove you're still legit. Take on Mauricio Rufy. But they're not going to do that. They're going to make McGregor Holloway 3. It's a joke. Fuck the UFC. Fuck Conor McGregor. That's what they're going to do. Yeah, bullshit. What a fight. Yeah. Max Holloway, Rufy, McGregor, please retire. But they're not going to do that, and they're going to make the trilogy. Fuck the UFC. On to the co-main event and party the fucking body lad. I told you lad, he's going to fucking beat BSD lad. BSD's got autism apparently. I mean, I already knew that. A lot of people didn't. That's why he was the favourite. If you ever watch the BSD fight, you know what he's going to do. He's going to charge at you. He's going to throw a 1-2 high kick, takedown. And Paddy Pimlet, whether you like him or not, you have to respect his jiu-jitsu. BSD's an utter idiot. Leaves his neck wide open. Pimlet just locked up the arse. You know, he's pulled the ghillie originally, but BSD has got good guillotine defense. You've got to when you fight that retardedly. But Dan Hooker is dog shit. You know, the warning signs were there against Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker nearly got him out of there. But Dan Hooker's got a good guillotine himself. Nearly got Arman out of there with it. But not going to get out of Paddy Pimlet's one. How good is Paddy Pimlet? Looked up the DAS, transitioned well with it, rolled with him, showing his jiu-jitsu skills. Very underwhelming, to be honest. You know, the ring walk was about 5 minutes from Pimlet, just to, you know, get him out of there in 50 seconds. But great win, great win. You know, people can no longer say, you know, your best win's Michael Chandler. You know, you got dog walked by Gaethje. Even that's aged well. So Pimlet's in a good spot right now. I want to see him take on Ilia Topuria. We need that fight. December, November, end of the year. Co-main event of a pay-per-view. It could even main event it without a title fight, but they're not going to do that. Pimlet versus Topuria, beef is there for years. The fight sells itself. But Topuria doesn't deserve a title fight, neither does Pimlet. Winner gets a title fight. Gaethje's not going to fight either of them. No. I mean, if Ilya doesn't want it and he wants, you know, to fight someone else lower down, maybe an Arman, Pimlet Oliveira, as he said in his interview, fucking anyone, lad. Yeah, I want to see Pimlet Topuria. Whether he wins that, I'm not going to say nothing yet, because Ilya fans won't be happy. But I want to see Pimlet versus Topuria. And for BSD, two things. He could either wait a bit, come back next year, take some time off. But he took no damage. You know, he got choked out. Like, it's not like he's been beaten up. Like, he doesn't look like he did against Moicano. I know that's not the post-fight picture. But he could either come back in September against anyone. Mauricio Rufy, the Salkiel Gamrot winner. If that's too quick of a turnaround, maybe not. or even Rafael Fiziev main event, the Paris card in September. Any of them three, the winner of Gamrot Salkil, Fiziev, Rufi, rematch with Rufi, that'd be a big fight for Rufi. But maybe not, as you know, he's just lost. If he'd have beat Pimlet, that'd have been a big fight. So yeah, probably one of Gamrot Salkil winner or Fiziev in September in Paris or next year. But suck to see for BSD. If you know the game, you know BSD's autistic, and this was always going to happen unless you knocked him out on the feet. But good win for Pimlet. He finally has a solid win in the division that you can't talk shit on. It's not like a washed Michael Chandler, or even though Bobby Green's wins raging well. We'll get to him in a minute. Yeah, good for Pimlet. Very underwhelming, but a nasty submission. We want to see Pimlet versus Tafora. On now to the feature fight, Sandhagen versus Bautista, and no surprise, this went to a decision, and that was pretty boring, to be honest. A lot of people were saying Sandhagen was robbed, and I'd have to disagree. Clearly, 2-1 Bautista, rounds 1 and 3 were his. It was very close on the feet in round 1. The takedown at the end, and I'm not a jiu-jitsu black belt or master, the Sulon stretch or something they called it, that he did that fucked up Sandhagen's hamstring or ankle or something like that. The same thing, what's his name? Almabayev did to Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson. I can't laugh at Charles Johnson anymore because of Lona Kavanagh. We'll get to him in a minute. But nasty, whatever it was, the submission attempt fucked up Sandhagen's leg. That basically won him the fight because it was very even, very competitive, and he probably was on his way to losing a boring 29-28 on the feet, getting out jabbed, and outstruck by Sandhagen. Sandhagen's wet dream, just a boring decision win. But that didn't happen. Bautista's not got the finishing instincts to finish off Sandhagen. Pause. He was just wobbling around at range, just jabbing him in the face. It was pretty boring. Round 2, Sandhagen just abandoned it. Well, no, he defended the takedowns, to be fair. Pretty boring, Sandhagen was just limping around, jabbing. Then round 3, Bautista got him down. Sandhagen won a round with one leg, basically. How good is Carlos Ulberg? Oh, how good is Carlos Ulberg? Fuck Carlos Ulberg. But it's what it is. Bautista won, boring decision. Nothing's changed in me. I'm more disappointed in Bautista than impressed in this performance. Dog shit fight. So, he just took him down at the end of the round. It was no submission attempts really. Never really had him out of there by the first round. Very boring fight. And if we look at the bantamweight division rankings, Sandhagen is number 4, but it's confusing because they don't use the rankings. So if you're using the meta ones, that's featherweight. He'll be top 5 in the world, but he already is. But O'Malley's going to fight the winner of Marab and Yan. Umar is fighting Song Yidong. So where does that leave them to? There is nothing for these two, even in the normal rankings. Ayman Zahabi's going to go down. But I think they're going to have to do Bautista versus Song. I'm going to assume Umar's going to win. We'll do Bautista v Song, and Sandhagen versus Tabet or Martinez. They're going to have to give Sandhagen a prospect. Bautista versus Song. Boring fight. Sandhagen's boring. Bautista's boring. What did we expect? Good submission attempt in the first round, but it was boring apart from that. Do Sandhagen versus Ballot, Tabet, and Bautista versus Song Yidong. On now to Brandon Royval versus Lona Kavanagh. Lona Kavanagh lost. Not only did he lose, he got dominated. No, not to sound like Jamal Hill. He got dominated in every aspect of the game. Round 1, Royval just brutally frame-mogged him, just popping a jab. As soon as Kavanagh had come in, he just popped him with a 1-2, abusing his range. His build is OP in this division. How tall is he actually? I don't know. He's like 5'11". Kavanagh's like 5'5". What do you expect? He's going to pop the jab in his face. Kavanagh couldn't cut off the cage to start the fight. And Royval dominated him on round 1. Took him down multiple times. And in round 1, I can excuse it, but Lona Kavanagh kept pulling fucking guillotines. When are these fighters going to learn? Lona. I love Lona Kavanagh. Why does he keep pulling guillotine? Every time he pulled it, not once was it tight, and he'd end up on bottom for at least a minute and a half, taking damage, elbows. When? Against Brandon Moreno. And Brandon Moreno is probably a better grappler than Brandon Royval. Was defending all of them just up against the cage. He wouldn't pull a ghillie once. He'd just try and defend a takedown, separate, and go back to dominating him on the feet. But no. If that was from his coaches, then fuck you, Brad Pickett. If you've told him to do that, fuck you. But awful game plan. Don't pull guillotines. You're not Paddy Pimlet. I can only excuse that if you're a Charles Oliveira, Paddy Pimlet type of fighter. Awful game plan. It might not have been a game plan, but awful fucking fight IQ. Round 2 was much better though. He finally cut off the range, rocked Royval, and yeah, pulled a guillotine again when Royval shot. He could have had Royval out then. That's why I'm not. You see these prospects, they get the big jump ups and they just get fucking smoked in the first round. But Kavanagh didn't do that. He was competitive in the first and second. He did get pieced up in the first. Round 2 proved that he's still legit and a good prospect. Brock Royval, which is impressive. Not many guys do that. And round 3, he pulled guillotine, ended up on bottom control for the majority of the round, and Brandon Royval submitted him. Took his back, nasty. It nearly looked in the arm triangle. Good defense originally to get out of the arm triangle. Transition to the back. A brutal picture of Kavanagh being choked out. It's disgusting to look at. It's sad to see. What have they done to my boy? Lona Kavanagh destroyed by Brandon Royval. And, all I've got. How good is Manel Cap? How good is Joshua Van? That is the test, and Kavanagh's failed the test, He failed the Charles Johnson test, which, Van did as well. He's fighting Jose Ochoa. That'll be interesting. Jose Ochoa. Kavanagh beat Jose Ochoa. So don't be surprised if Charles Johnson wins that. But Manel Cap's not good. He backed Royval up and knocked him out. Manel Cap's got power. Kyoji Horiguchi's a better fighter than Manel Cap. Cap's just got more power. This sounds like some brutal cope. But that was same would happen if Cap fought Kavanagh. He'd knock him out because he's got the finishing instincts. Kavanagh would probably piece him up and he'd knock him out. But for Kavanagh, I want to see him take some time off, come back earlier next year, maybe even UFC London, take on a prospect like we'll look at the rankings. If someone gets a couple of wins, like where's the flyweight division, like an Edgar Shirez, gets on a couple of wins, on the media rankings. Morales is on a couple of wins. Borjas somehow, Raposo, someone like that, a prospect in the middle of down, lower in the division at the UFC London. Or if he wants to stay active, come back at the end of the year. Horiguchi's there. That's a good fight to get him back in the title picture. And for Royval, he called out Almabayev, just booked that fight. You know, Royval's not going to win the belt. He's just there to fraud check prospects. But Almabayev's already been fraud checked by Manel Cap. But Royval and Cap are very different, as I just said. Royval's more in your face. Cap's just going to knock you out. So that'd be interesting. Almabayev, nasty grappling skills, but Royval's looking better. That'd be a good fight. But yeah, fucking sucks to see for Lona Kavanagh. It is what it is. He'll be back. He's only young. Opening up the main card, we had Bobby Green, King Green versus Terence McKinney, and as expected, it was a great fight for the first round. And as expected, my picks were great on this card, by the way. I haven't even mentioned that. I only got Lona Kavanagh wrong. McKinney has no defense. He has no chin. He has no cardio. Bobby Green is durable, will survive a beating, and he'll come back. And it is McKinney can survive it. I don't think he can, and he couldn't. Very good going forwards. Cut Green open pretty early. Had him down on the ground, looking for the submission. Take the back, ground and pound. Green survived as he does. Unless you're elite, Bobby Green isn't going to lose to you. And McKinney is not elite. He's fun in the first round, but if you actually watch him, you'd realize he's dog shit. And not to shit on him, but he gets glazed like he's a real prospect, and he's not. Not that he's not that good. Bobby Green, as knocked him out. A nasty liver shot sat him down. Maybe an early stoppage. I did think they could have let it go into the second round, but there's people saying it's rigged. It's not rigged. You just don't know who McKinney is. This is what he does. He beats up on someone for a round, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They survive and then they knock him out. That's what it is. McKinney isn't that good. Give him some low rank guy. Who did I actually write down for McKinney? I don't know. Mateus Camilo's there, guys like that. Sadikov, someone like that. And for Bobby Green, Dan Hooker's called him out. That'd be a good fight. Maybe Dan Hooker's looking for an easy win, maybe. But if Bobby Green wins, he'll be. Where's Dan Hooker in the rankings? They don't use the meta rankings. He's still ranked pretty high, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, number 8 and number 9. What about the media ones? Media ones. He's number 11. Yeah. Bobby Green's going to get his ranked opportunity again against Dan Hooker in September. They both called each other out. I don't mind it. Given it'll be a fun fight on the feet. I do think Dan Hooker would win. He's too big for Bob. I don't know. It'd be a great fight. Green versus Hooker, McKinney versus Sadikov, someone like that. He's just not as good as people thought he was. And I don't want to sound like a smart ass, but I knew he wasn't that good. Yeah, Bobby Green puts him down at the end of the first round. Nasty liver shot. McKinney beats up on him for a round and a half. Green survives and KOs McKinney. Headline in the prelims was Nikita Krylov versus Robert Whittaker. Whittaker looks good at 205. I mean, he was getting flamed by the commentary. They were calling him fat. Like, he's not fat. he's just a smaller guy. He's got a little bit of body fat. Like they're acting like he looks like DC right now. Disgraceful commentary. They even put like what are they doing? They put Theo Von like some podcast taking like it's a UFC fight, and you got Theo Von yapping to fucking DC and Joe Rogan. Like, come on now. Good performance from Bobby Knuckles. We'll get into that now. Good performance from Robert Whittaker. Looked a bit dodgy in the first round. That is the game plan to beat Robert Whittaker. You have to overwhelm him with grappling pace, like he did in the first round. But Nikita Krylov's dog shit. People were glazing Nikita Krylov. They've been doing it ever since he come back against Dominic Reyes. And I was one of them. I picked him to beat Dominic Reyes, but he's not that good anymore. You know, a lot of time out of the cage, chin twice, barely beat Modestas Bukauskas. I know he knocked him out, but that was boring. And Modestas Bukauskas isn't that good. Robert Whittaker, the lighter man skill, bobbing in and out, too fast for Krylov. He was dominating on the feet with a jab. Nikita Krylov, 6'4", however tall he is, couldn't dominate couldn't get the range and pop a jab on Whittaker. You could have just coasted to a decision with a jab. Jab, teep, no, like Strickland. Bigger guy, just pop the jab on the low kicks, and Whittaker's not got the most pop on the feet. But a good performance. Whittaker looks solid at 205. As always, suspect with the grappling wise nowadays. If you can put a high pace on him like Chimaev did, like RDR did, you can get him out there. But Krylov gassed. He had the game plan. Round one, just smudged him up against cage, tried to take the back, didn't get it done. And yeah, Whittaker found the range, started piecing them up, 1-2s, 1-2. The high kick was implemented in the second round, the classic 1-2 head kick. And yeah, it looked like he broke his jaw. I don't think he did, but Krylov kind of, I don't say he quit, but he kind of like gave up. Whittaker hit him and he held his mouth to the ref. Good performance from Whittaker. He looks good. He'll be ranked now. And I want to see Robert Whittaker, take on Azamat Murzakanov. He'll be back at the end of the year, maybe. They usually go to Abu Dhabi in like October, November. On that card, co-main event, maybe even the main event, because that'll be a top 10 fight. Whittaker will be in the rankings now. I like Robert Whittaker here. Murzakanov is a bit of a dodgy matchup as he is one of the faster light heavyweights. But I think Whittaker's got one last run in him at the top, and Azamat Murzakanov is a legit contender. I know Costa's just decimated him, but before that he was on a run. Rakic, that's it to be honest. He didn't really beat anyone good. But Costa decimated him. He's still a good guy. Where is he in the world? Number 8. That'd be a good win. Where was Krylov actually? That's the metal ones. Fuck's sake. Krylov was number 12 and Azamat's number 7. So yeah, that'd be a good fight for Whittaker. Get back in there. And for Krylov, we need to feed him to a prospect now. Give him Igor Baraneski. I'm convinced Baraneski can beat him. He's got the pace. He's got good grappling as well. So I don't know how Krylov can do that against him. Krylov, they gave him a step down against Bukauskas, looked mid. Bukauskas then went out against Portson Bellator Can and looked mid. That is an impressive win. Whittaker's looks solid. Feed Krylov to a prospect. Whittaker versus Azamat and Krylov versus Iwa Baraneski. On now to Gable Loophole's fight. Rapeson versus Ellison. Good win for Gable. Didn't look as good as I thought he would. A bit scrappy with Ellison. Hurt him with an elbow. Defended his takedowns. A bit on the feint from Ellison. That was a nasty nibble from Gable Stevenson there. He shot and he just fully sprawled that. Dodgy there. Couldn't really implement his grappling game against the bottom of the barrel heavyweight. That isn't a good look for this Olympic GOAT, Gable Stevenson, but got the job done on the feet. You can tell he's been training with Jones, the teeps, the elbows, etc. that he's trying. Nasty move, kicked him in the dick, went for the punch. Typical dirty fighter move. Also, when he was unconscious, just another ground and pound shot, nasty move, typical, just classy guy, this Gable Stevenson. But no, I'm not gonna. That sound very salty. He is a rapist, but good performance nevertheless. He looks decent on the feet. Sus though when someone actually punches him. I think he will get knocked out when he fights someone decent, but I don't think it'll be anytime soon. They're gonna slowly build him up, and I think there's not really many heavyweights in this division that they can give him. That he's a jump up from Ellison. I think they're gonna do Junata Deniz. He's there around that unranked spot. That's still not got a fight. It depends how active he is. If Stevenson's active, then maybe you could get in there a short notice replacement against someone. But I don't think he's going to be that type of guy. He's got that superstar mentality already, just fighting on the big cards. I think they're going to give him Jonathan Deniz next. And Elijah Ellison, I don't think they should cut him. Give him Sean Sharaf. He's still in the UFC somehow. Do him a nice one. You're giving him Brando Perecic on short notice in Perth and Gable Stevenson. Come on now. No, he looked okay in that fight. Not like Perecic where he just quit. He was in there to lose, but he actually put up a decent fight for about a minute and a half until Stevenson overwhelmed him with kicks. Uh, he got the win, but fuck him. Just give him Jonathan. I'm not interested until he fights someone decent. Ellison, bottom of the barrel guy. Even they could even cut him because he's not gonna. He's nothing special. But yeah, Stevenson got the win. Not that impressive. Got the job done though. Next was Cody Garbrandt versus Adrian Yanez, and as expected, Adrian Yanez smoked Cody Garbrandt in the first round. Massive favourite, and I thought that was a bit generous as he's not actually all that Adrian Yanez. And from watching him when he fought Rob Font, etc., and got knocked out, he hasn't really changed his game much. He still looks a bit dodgy in the pocket. He's pretty, crashes in, doesn't really set up the shots too well, but he's getting knockouts. However, the comp is lower, you know, but he deserves another chance to fight a decent guy on the verge of the rankings. I think they should do Adrian Yanez versus Jean Massamuto. That'd be a great fight. Two guys that will brawl in the pocket, fight of the night material. Massamuto just robbed X at Almacan, so don't do him anything nice. Give him Adrian Yanez. Then the winner can look towards a ranked guy. But Cody Garbrandt retired. I forgot. Garbrandt retired. It's about time, isn't it, really? He can't even beat the low. Like, he robbed Zhao Long. Can't even beat the bottom of the barrel guys. Great career. Wrap it up, bud. Fair play. At least he can respect that now he's finally washed. No more tattoos. He could get another one on that eye just to, fully get the wash look, but he just got knocked out in the pocket, overwhelmed with volume. Yanez 1-2, 1-2 as he was falling down. The overhand, nasty knockout from Yanez. But I'm not too high on the hype yet because he's not really beaten no one good since his downfall. But he's getting the win, so you have to respect it. Give him a better matchup. Adrian Yanez versus Joel Massamuto, I want to see. They could give him a ranked guy, but I don't think he's going to get that off of beating a Cody Garbrandt. A good fight. Uh, Good prospect, Yanez, but we've seen it before. I can't get too high on a guy that's been just destroyed by the top of the division. But build him up slowly. Jean Massamuto, that'd be a good fight. Just destroy Cody Garbrandt. Good performance from Adrian Yanez. Garbrandt retired. Next, we had Luke fucking Riley, lad. I told you, lad. Scouts don't get knocked out, lad. Luke Riley destroyed Kai Kamaka. Layup, really. Let's be honest. This is more. Is it really though? Because Aswell, I'd say Aswell's better than Kai Kamaka. Just destroyed him, overwhelmed him with volume. A bit of an early stoppage, but he was going to knock Kai Kamaka out. I saw the people moaning about it. He's saving the fighters really, but he wasn't really going to fight back from that. Nasty right down the middle, sat Kai Kamaka down, wobbled up against the cage. Another early finish on the card. Lots of early finishes. Good to see. Sometimes not though. After back to back to back, because then we have to sit there for fucking 50 minutes of adverts. But good performance. Two knockouts. First round knockout. The hype is real. 14, is he 14 and 0? 14 and 0. Big name. He doesn't really have the persona on the mic. He's pretty chill on the mic, so he's not like Paddy. But he doesn't have to when he fights like that. Nasty knockout. A real prospect. Let's not go too high yet because he's not beaten no one incredible. Michael Aswell, Bogdan Grad, Kai Kamaka. Let's jump him up a bit. I want to see Luke Riley versus Anderson Brito. That'd be a good fight. Put it on the Paris card in September. Riley versus Brito. Open up the main card, something like that. That'd be a good fight. Kai Kamaka, let's be honest, no one really cares. He beat Darius Flowers, barely. Smoked by Riley. Give him some Dana White Contender Series guy that wins at the end of the year. That's coming up soon in August. Good performance from Luke Riley, knocking out Kai Kamaka. I like that though, but there's still a glaring weakness of the takedowns. But Kai Kamaka didn't shoot any, so we can't say nothing yet because Luke Riley, we all know he's got pop on the feet. If you shoot takedowns on him, that's when you can beat him. But you can't shoot on it until you've seen it. Bogdan Grad's the only guy that could do it to him. Aswell couldn't do it. Getting the knockout. So I want to see Luke Riley versus Anderson Brito in Paris. Feed it to me now. Headline in the early prelims was Tracy Cortez versus Wang Kong, and finally, people now know that Tracy Cortez is not that good. She's just an attractive woman, and she's very mid at fighting, and she's not going to beat the top women in the flyweight division. Very boring fight, apart from the illegal knee in round 2 from Wang Kong up against the fence. Fair play to Tracy Cortez. She didn't, Rodolfo Bellato Max and just try and get a DQ win. She actually, I'll give her some respect for that. She still fought it out. But she's not that good, let's be honest. She just got pieced up on the feet by Wang Kong. 30-27, 29-27 as the point got took off. Shot a lot of takedowns, but Wang Kong, he's a good fighter. That's why I picked her. She's a good defensive grappler, very good striker. She's only really lost. Her only loss is a fluke to Gabriela Fernandez, and she would beat Gabriela Fernandez if they fought now. Real good things coming for Wang Kong. She called out Valentina Shevchenko a bit early. I know you got beef before in kickboxing and shit like that. You're not going to get Valentina Shevchenko yet. Yeah, Tracy Cortez isn't that good. She's not big for the division. She's not got pop on the feet, and her grappling is mid. And if you're a decent fighter like Wang Kong, you'll be able to defend it. And yeah, a pretty boring decision win, just piecing her up on the feet. A legal knee in the second round, nothing too crazy. And yeah, for Wang Kong, I want to see her get a jump up in the rankings. Where is it? Strawweight, she is. Where is it at? I want to see her take on Rose Namajunas. Right, what one is that? That's Shevchenko, isn't it? Yeah, so she was number 12. She's going to be top 10. I want to see her take on one of Namajunas or Barber, preferably Namajunas, as that'd be a better fight on the feet. Maybe Macy Barber, but Namajunas doesn't fight, so probably will be Macy Barber. One of them two. She's not far off the title. A fun name in the division. There's not many of them. We get the boring, Fiorox, Grasso, Blanchfield. But she's a fun woman that can defend takedowns and is a good striker. Cortez isn't that good. I think I want to see her take on Casey O'Neill. That's the only really matchup that makes sense. Maverick's injured. She's already beat Silva. Mora, she just got destroyed by Wang Kong as well. Yeah, that makes sense. Cortez versus O'Neill and Wang Kong versus Blanchfield. Not Blanchfield, Barber or Namajunas. Next fight was Damian Pinas versus Cesar Almeida. As expected, Pinas knocked him out. He got toyed with on the feet for a bit, high volume of Almeida. But this sport is cruel. If you've got KO power, you're going to win. Pinas is you just got that finishing ability. Then he's going to get guys out of there. Almeida was teeing off on him at range. Got a takedown on him as well. Not all much happened really. Pinas backed him up straight right down the middle, sat Cesar Almeida down. And this guy is legit. He's got real power. Bit worrying though that he got took down by Almeida. Almeida is not a good grappler himself, kickboxer as well. Been out grappled multiple times. But Pinas is young, he's learning on the job. This is a bigger jump up than a Gautier's got, a Susakaev's got. A big test for the prospect, and he passed. First round KO, very impressive. I like Damian Pinas. I don't like. Shut up. Yeah, I want to see him take on Roman Kopylov. Another test, another decent guy on the verge of the rankings. And Pinas is a legit prospect, and if he can go out there and knock out a Kopylov in the first round, then he's going to put himself a fight away from the rankings. And he's only young, nasty striker. Questions weren't answered before this fight. He beat Wade Schultz. Like, come on now, that's Wade Schultz. Knocking out Almeida is impressive, especially in the way he did it. Almeida's a good striker. He only really gets out grappled. Very impressive performance. I want to see him take on Kopylov, and for Almeida, he's UFC level. He's just not, ranked level, top of the division. I want to see him take on a winner of Jose Johnson and McConaughey, probably Jose Johnson. He's just there to take on the prospects. I want to see him do this. Is Jose Johnson. Is that his name? Jose Johnson? The guy that beat Cedric Tomas and looked mid against Nico Price. Johnson. Yeah. Almeida's there to beat prospects, or no, forecheck prospects. Didn't happen for him that time. Pinas got away from him. I want to see Pinas versus Almeida and Almeida versus Jose Johnson. Next up was Farid Basharat versus John Garza, and my God, is Basharat boring. Very impressive that he's undefeated and 16-0, wins every fight, but he's fucking boring. Going to war with John Garza, well, not war, he clearly won. He's just not good on the feet. He's got no pop. He's like a Bilal Muhammad at bantamweight. He can smudge his way to a decision, and he beats John Garza. A layup, really, that you meant to go out there and just smoke in a round or two, but he got the win. He's very boring. We need to see the Ethan Ewing fight again, because I do believe Ethan Ewing will knock him out. He's got pop. He's a better boxer. Takedown defense looks solid against Rafael Estevam, but that's Rafael Estevam. Basharat's a better grappler than Estevam. Be interesting to see if Ewing can defend his takedowns. I want to see Basharat versus Estevam. Not much to talk about here, really. I'm not going to lie, I didn't watch the fight. They don't let us watch it. I saw the highlights. And Garza's a good striker, but Basharat, defensively sound, better grappler, was able to take him down when he had momentum, saw out decision win. He's nothing special. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't re-sign him. They didn't do it to his brother, but I kind of think they have to keep him around. He's in the rankings, he's undefeated. Or do they? I hope they don't, but I think they're going to do it. Give him Ethan Ewing. He's calling out David Martinez. I don't want to see that. Fight Ethan Ewing first. If you beat Ethan Ewing, then fair enough. Have all you want, mate. Have a fucking title fight. But maybe not. But John Garza, keep him around. Good little, he's nothing special. But he looked good against Basharat. Took him to a competitive decision where other guys could have just, got fucked up in the first round and know that they're going to get a fight. But Garza actually made it semi-competitive. I think they should reward him with an absolute layup, like a Surrey Sahai City, whatever his not Sahai City, it's Jamie Siraj, or who else did I put for him? What's his name? Fuck, what am I doing? Yeah, that is what I want to see happen. Basharat versus Ewing and Gaza versus Jamie Siraj. Next was Ryan Gandra versus Zachary Reese, and another impressive first round knockout for Ryan Gandra here against Zachary Reese in the pocket, nasty right hand, sat Zachary Reese down, and he's got some serious power in this division, and that will take you far up until the rankings probably. Nasty knockout power. Zachary Reese isn't all that. He can take you down, but on the feet he's pretty chinny, and Gandra knocks him out early. Not much to say there. A minute and 15 seconds. I want to see Gandra. Don't rush him. He's still only beaten Reese and Medina. I want to see him take on Cody Brundage. That's always a tough task. Made it competitive with Bo Nickel. Brundage in him. If Brundage locks in, he's a dangerous guy. Trust me. Brundage is solid. I want to see Gandra versus Brundage and Zachary Reese. What is the point of Zachary Reese? He doesn't fraud check prospects. He doesn't. He's not going to beat anyone good. They're going to keep him around, and I want to see him take on Andrei Petroski. The loser gets cut. He's just that bottom of the barrel guy that's there to get slammed out by a prospect, and it happened again. Gandra knocked him out. Build Gandra slowly. Give Gandra Brundage and give Reese Petroski. Finally, we had Alessandro Costa versus Cody Durden. Alessandro Costa submitted Cody Durden. I thought he'd knock him out. Cody Durden, it's just Cody Durden. He's not all that. Zero pop on the feet, and if you can't do that, you're probably going to lose a decision. And if you can defend his takedowns, you're going to win. Alessandro Costa took the back, submitted Cody Durden. Very impressive. And what I like about Alessandro Costa is he's very active. Trains with Diego Lopez. It's no surprise they're similar. I think that's 3 fights in 3 months. He's finishing them. They're not the most impressive opponents. Stuart Nickel. What's the fucking guy's name? What's his name? Fuck. What is his name? Matt Schnell and Cody Durden, not the best wins, but he's finishing them all. I want to see him get a jump up. Tim Elliott or Bruno Silva, guys on the verge of the rankings. I mean, actually, are they in the rankings? Flyweight. Is he still in the rankings? Not in the meta ones, and not in the real ones. He's not in the rankings. Alessandro Costa versus Elliott or Bruno Silva on the verge of the rankings, and he can get in the rankings. Very impressive guy, good defense, very good pop on the feet. He's a fun guy, very active, very durable. A brawler in the pocket. You can tell he trains with Diego Lopez. They're very similar. I like Alessandro Costa. Give him a guy on the verge of the rankings, and for Cody Durden, just keep him around. He's nothing special. In fact, rebook the Ode Osborne fight. The loser can get cut. 2 flyweights that are just there to fight prospects. I love the UFC. You get guys that are just there to fight prospects like Almeida, Durden. They keep them around. You can make a career out of being a journeyman in the UFC. They like that. You get paid good money. You whack up a few wins. You get on like a 50-50, 40 for 40, and then you can get paid good money to get slammed out in the first round in the Apex. What a career. Anyway, that is what I want to see happen. A great card. Very good fights on it. Every fight was a banger, basically. McGregor's 40 turn up and ruin it. Very good card. I went very well on picks. I only got Kavanagh wrong. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and goodbye.